Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, go ahead there, Johnny.
We'll give the room just a few seconds to populate before we dive into all of the exciting things that we're going to be discussing.
Indeed, populating quite aggressively, John. Well, everyone, we're pretty darn excited. Obviously, we had an opportunity to have a call 6 hours ago, which has created quite a very positive frenzy in Europe and some other parts of the world. We're very, very excited to be sharing with you something that we've been working diligently in the background for quite a while now. And we're obviously very, very excited to have the opportunity to share this with you all. And it's going to be a phenomenal call, potentially a life-changing call. And I think that you'll be able to make your own evaluation on that in maybe about 30, 40 minutes from now, to be honest with you. My name is Ron Monterulli. I am the CEO of Unifii. With me here is David Dewar. He is our CTO, our Chief Technology Officer. And we have John Kinnear, our Chief Marketing Officer. And so we're going to be presenting with you today. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of fun stuff to share with you all. So again, the room is pretty cranking here, John. If anybody calls you back and says they couldn't get into the room, it's possible that we could fill the room right out. And so that being the case, we, of course, as always, have our recordings. And so we will be posting the recording of this call right after this call. It takes about a half an hour, and we can have that call up in your back office. And so you can share that to the people that weren't able to make the call, or unfortunately may have gotten locked out of the call just because the room just blew up. So,
yeah, we had several hundreds in the UK call. So well, I should call it the UK call. It's actually the Europe call. Yeah. And we're getting very busy here as well. So listen, without any further ado, what we'll do is dive right into things. And of course, people can watch the recording if they miss all the some details in the beginning. But why don't we dive right into stuff?
We will. John, just before we get started, if you don't mind, I'd like to say thank you to all our Unifii members that started with us from June the 18th up until now. We said it was going to be a journey, and it has been a very positive, encouraging journey, and it's only going to get better and better and better. But I also want to offer my gratitude to you, John, for the hard work that you've been doing, the incredible work that you continually do, seeking to do whatever you can to help our members, and to David, of course, for the incredible work that he does to ensure that we have a fast, reliable, safe environment where we can build a massive organization, which is critically important as we start to launch what we are about to launch. We need to be rock solid. So I just want to say thank you to guys. Again, the company doesn't exist if it isn't for the members that have come and joined us, and some stay, some continue to stay, and some are completely loyal to the bone, and some choose to move on. But I have a sneaky suspicion that after today's call, I think the prodigal child is going to be coming back. And so with that, I want to say, again, thank you. We'll talk to you a little bit later. I'd like to pass the call over to John Kinnear. He's just a phenomenal man. I'm really, really grateful to have him as part of the company. John, take over the call, my friend.
Thanks very much, dude. And again, welcome. And by the way, if you're here for the very, very first time, meeting us for the first time, looking at this information for the first time, a special welcome to you. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule. To our core leadership that obviously are on the call, and we're several hours ago for the Europe call. Our goal was to be able to bring a series of products to you that could make a difference in people's lives. And of course, for those of you who have been on the journey since the beginning, in the crypto space, we started seeing some absolutely phenomenal numbers from our trading. And of course, what we've seen happen this year into the crypto space is that market go very flat. And so squeezing out 10, 15% in a month has proven to be much more of a challenge under the certain circumstances in the crypto world, not only for, of course, for our traders, but for traders all around the globe in this crypto space. And so as promised, we always told you we would diversify. So there's multiple ways for you to earn, and this is the beginning of that process for you. When you see the numbers here, and you understand the absolute mass of the market that we're going to be talking about, the good news, of course, for you is that we will be able to create a much more consistent long-term gain for you with this particular vehicle. Although we already know that our algorithms are refined and work extremely well once crypto starts moving, whether that's up or down, we don't care. As long as there's movement in that market, we're all making money. So that's kind of how we'll proceed forward with this new information that we have for you. Now, at the beginning of our presentation, you know that we have a disclaimer because one of the elements that creates so much profit for our members is actual trading. And it's critically important that we make sure that we advise all members, new and current standing members, that you're not risking capital that you can't afford to lose. So our product line, if you have any experience with this at all, is already familiar to you. Prosperity U is sort of the anchor. It's the cornerstone and the education hub for Unifii. But then we have two different signal sets that we focus on. One is an advanced signal. So this is a signal for individuals that really want to get dirty with our trading coaches and invest a little bit of time in BitMEX or the Binance environments and really understand some basics, some very effective basics in regards to trading. And then we also had members that wanted to focus on a signal that there was virtually nothing at all to do. And the universal signal was designed to be exactly that signal. You can see at the front of the slide, of course, our altcoin reports. If you are new to this call and have never seen an altcoin report before, I would recommend that you have a quick read of one from one of our existing members, because the way these reports are assembled and the capacity for these altcoin reports to make you money, especially come 2019, when we start to see some of the challenges that most economists are expecting in the financial markets. Obviously, what typically happens when those things are gearing up, those kind of challenges in the financial markets, guess what people do? They pull money out, and guess where they put it? Usually in gold and silver. But recently years, they've been putting it into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And so that surge of cash in 2019 probably will cause some interesting things to happen. And the altcoins that bring real value to the market are the ones that are going to be the benefactors of this new influx of cash. And then, of course, our topic for today is our new addition in premium FX signals. So this is where our focus will be. And then we'll talk a little bit about how all these things integrate together at the end. Ron will give you some details on all of that. Okay, so anything you guys want to add on this slide, or should we dive right into it?
Let's dive right into it, my friend.
Let's get going.
All right. So VIP Global FX is the branding for the FX signal that you're going to learn about. And it's a single set of signals that you can use in two different ways, depending on where you are in the world. One way, if you are in US and Canada. We'll explain that in a little more detail in just a couple of minutes. First of all, if you don't have any background into Forex, very simple. Forex or FX is an abbreviation or a shortening of foreign exchange. So anytime global currencies are traded one versus another, that's the world Forex market. It's over $5 trillion a day in trading volume. It's absolutely immense. It's the largest, most liquid financial market in the world. So this is where all the big dogs make their money. So why trade in the Forex market? Fantastic question, because crypto trading has been the buzz. And of course, one of the things that we've seen happen just before the market really started to tighten up, if you remember, there was a lot of news in regards to renegade Chinese billionaires that were just, for whatever reason, I assume it was for personal gain, but for us on the outside looking in, it seemed like they were just screwing with us, manipulating the Bitcoin market, coming in and moving out and pushing that market around as they saw fit. And there was a lot of talk as to why they were doing it. Some of them were kind of bragging that they were doing it and sort of sending messages before they made big moves. That doesn't happen by those individuals in the Forex market because it's such an immense market. So why one would be involved in this market? Well, very simply, it's a very easy market to access. In other words, you don't need a lot of starting capital to be involved successfully in Forex. It's never experienced a crisis. So this is a recession-proof market that's always protected. You can profit in all market conditions. And what that simply means is that you can short that market when it's on the downward trend, and of course you can buy into that market and profit when it's strong. This is key. You have full control over risk. And when you consider various business and earning opportunities that there are in the world at the moment, trying to control risk, well, I mean, it's extremely difficult to do at the best of times. And this is one of the environments where you genuinely can have very good control over risk, especially with solid risk management strategies that you certainly will hear about in Prosperity U, and you'll watch us implement when we teach you how to use this product. But also, we've got a 5-day per week, 24-hour-a-day market. So if you work shift work, if you have an unusual schedule, it really doesn't matter. And when you see this signal set and how you receive it, you'll realize that you have total freedom to trade and participate in this as you see fit. Liquidity is a big deal. We just talked about $5.3 trillion. There's always a buyer to your sell, and there's always a seller to your buy. So getting in and out of trades is a very easy thing to do in Forex. And then ultimately opportunity. It's appropriate, actually, that this bullet is on this slide, especially when we get to the results page. The opportunity to benefit and profit in Forex is quite remarkable. So there's two basic types of Forex traders. We've got what we call retail traders and institutional traders. Now, you may have heard these terms before. We're going to take a slightly different approach in sharing this information with you. If you have investigated Forex before, there are a lot of technical terms that you may have heard, strategies in play, teaching methods and trading methods that we will acknowledge here, but not participate in. We're going to explain why we don't participate in them in just a moment. First of all, now it's really tough to hammer down a specific number, but if you do hours of online research, you will learn that there are many, many, many millions of what we call retail Forex traders. Now, some of these people are professionals, some of them are amateurs, and then everything in between. But retail traders are individuals that are generally focused on technical analysis, trying to identify what the market is going to do. Most of them lose money. Many of them lose all their money, and it's a shame that happens. But largely happening because the concept behind technical analysis and retail trading is you're reacting to market conditions. You're watching what's happening, you're reacting, and you're hoping that you can guess where the market's going to go. What's interesting about institutional traders is that they are the big dollars that enter the market. National banks, financial institutions, governments, large corporations, for example, large multinational companies that to manufacture whatever it is they manufacture, maybe they have elements that they purchase from other countries. Now, when they purchase literally in the millions and sometimes tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of these goods, obviously they're purchasing those in the fiat currency of the country that manufactures them. Well, they have to participate en masse in the Forex market to make sure those things get bought and implemented into their factories around the world. Of course, they in general have a very, very high success rate because they are the market. So not reacting to anything, they are making the market move. So what's interesting about this trading Forex hierarchy, I'm going to break this down for you in just a little bit more of a graphic detail. We take a look at these large institutional elements, and then we compare them to this retail element. Now, even though this retail element is at the bottom of this hierarchy and is only representing 5.5% of the volume, it's almost 80 million traders. So it just gives you a sense of how much money is actually in these markets. Now, what's really interesting here, though, is you consider retail traders are really they're chasing or trying to identify where all the money above them in all those categories is going to push the market to. And so this is why our focus, when we get into why and how we're different, our focus very plainly, and this is far easier said than done, which is why you don't hear about it very often. Professional traders, consultants, and advisors that actually have dedicated years to learning how to trade with the institutions. So I want you to consider this visual. consider the institutions this massive money elephant. And if we can be a fly that jumps on the back of the elephant when it moves, we really don't even have to worry about where it's going. We're along for the ride and we get to profit and benefit the whole way. So this is kind of the attempt that well, I shouldn't say it's, when you see results, it's far more than an attempt. This has been a lot of years in the development, years of experience on the trading floor. If you talk to some of our advisors and consultants, they talk about that early trading floor experience and actually getting the buy and the sell orders from these huge institutions, and how much of an eye-opener that was for them as traders. We're not using robots. This is live trading. And so as such, they can respond to all market conditions very, very quickly. They are not using the technical analysis that so many people that are traders have come to understand, like averaging. I'm trying to mash two words together, like averaging or hedging or martingale techniques. They do use very tight stop losses and tight money management strategies. So these are consummate professionals. They're not gamblers. And when you watch, and you'll have a chance to see how they're doing what they do, you'll see some very professional behavior and very consistent professional behavior. And that's how they make money, a lot of money long term. Very good risk to reward ratios as well. And you'll see in our most recent statistics in November, one of their results page as it comes right out of their computer system, and you'll see this risk to reward ratio, and we'll explain that for you. And then this is something that has been working very successfully for them for a long time. Why aren't more people doing it? Why aren't more people talking about it? Well, it's very, very difficult to learn. When you watch how they analyze charts, there's been other professionals, long-standing professionals, that have tried to adopt these strategies that just can't quite get it. So we are in a very, very unique position with our partnership with VIP Global Effects, and how you're going to benefit will become very clear in just a couple of minutes. So what's included? Well, first of all, there's a personal VIP website that is included. Now, all of you that are Unifii members, you know you already have a Unifii replicated website. And what we've done for you is we've created a second marketing website for you to use. For those of you who will, in the early stages, be really aggressive with your Forex focus, you'll have an easy time sending out resources that just talk about this one particular element. This is one of the reasons that we built it for you. But the other reason that it's being built for you is the back office that will be available. You can see at the bottom of this slide, in a January launch, is going to have some very interesting sharing elements that are going to make getting the word out and actually getting people using this information probably one of the easiest things that you've ever done. In about 5 minutes, that picture will become much more clear for you. And so the premium product is the signal set itself. There's only one signal set. And then ultimately, Prosperity U is a terminology that all of you know if you're members, and that is that there's a whole series of Forex videos that will also now be loaded into your Prosperity U environment. So results. First of all, as I mentioned before, one product. There's two different ways that this product can be used. And the focus really is a constant refinement of this analysis and trading strategy, this institutional trading strategy. And obviously the proof is ultimately in the pudding for anything and everything when it comes to this kind of a business venture. So let's take a quick look at some. Now, this is real trading data. So this is not a test scenarios, hypotheticals the computers are running. This is real data. Just like you get real data from us in our weekend reviews, exactly the same thing is happening here. So August 2018, so this past August, this system saw a 26% increase in member accounts. September saw a 38% increase. Those aren't typos, those are real numbers. And then October saw a 20% increase. So what we wanted to make sure we did for you, and we actually just pulled this together this morning, was, in fact, Ron, I'd like, if you don't mind, to talk about this element, the most recent data we could get our hands on, and that, of course, is the beginning of this month of November.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing stuff when you look at it. It doesn't matter how many times you look at it, John, it still amazes me. Like we said before, it almost feels like we're cheating. But the reality is, it is what it is. And so one of the things I was asking this morning was whether or not we could get an update on how things were happening in the month of November. And this is the actual trades themselves. Now, one of the things that we talk about, and John was talking a little bit about risk management, is there's always sets of goals, i.e. you can go after a 1 target, 2 target, or 3 target. A target 1 is 1-to-1, a target 2 is 2-to-1, and a target 3 is 3-to-1. So what we do is, I'm not going to get into the details of this, but we will be getting into the details of it. We will teach each and every one of you exactly how to set yourselves up correctly so that you are taking into consideration risk management. For example, you won't be risking more than 1% of your actual account. In some cases, you might be risking 2%, but we would certainly not encourage you to do any more than that. And when we talk a little bit about results, you'll start to realize that it's not necessary to do so. The key here is discipline, and that's one of the most important key factors to what we're talking about, the discipline of this program. In the month of November, from the 1st to the 12th, if you took at the third to the last column on the right, you'll see a 2, then you'll see an 8, and then you'll see a 14. So what that means is there was 2 winners at the 1-to-1, there was 8 winners at the 1-to-2, and there was 14 winners at the 1-to-3. So when you actually add that up, it's actually 24% return. And that's not that is from the 1st to the 12th. But again, the Forex market is not open 7 days a week. So this is 8 trading days. 8 trading days, 24%. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be 24% every 8 trading days. What this means is that it's fluid, but most importantly, what it really, really means is that it's very profitable. And if you look underneath this, you'll see August to November. So we wanted to kind of get you that running tally, something that we typically do with our cryptocurrency weekend reviews. We wanted to do the same thing here with you as well, so that you can clearly see what's interesting. 13 1-to-1s, 50 1-to-2s, and 61 1-to-3. So if you add that up, that's actually 124% return since August. Now, those are insane numbers. I'm almost afraid to share them, to be totally honest with you, because one would look at those numbers and say those are absolutely ridiculous, and they really are ridiculous. But the proof is in the pudding, and that's the absolute reality of it all. Now, what's really important to understand, and I've talked a lot about this when it came to cryptocurrency trading or any trading whatsoever, you'll see that the actual win rates in some cases are below 50, and up to around the 60%. So I've always said it doesn't matter how many trades you win. What matters is how much money you make. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters most is how much money you keep. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, I don't even want to get into this too much, John, but I want everybody to also understand that this is a stagnant return. In actual fact, there's compounding that's going on in here that we haven't even calculated into the system, which means, for example, if you're trading a certain account and that account wins that trade, the next trade actually takes into consideration the winnings of the previous trade and it trades that one. So that's compounding. So the numbers can actually get even a little bit crazier than this. Again,
we can't share them. It's just insane. It sounds silly. What's interesting here too, Ron, is that there are quite a number of people already trading this data, and many of them are trading at 2-to-1. So if you factor compounding in 2-to-1 over the last 3 months, I didn't want to say the number. It's so high. It's truly absurd. The last thing I wanted to mention, Ron, is that win-loss category, and I appreciate that you mentioned that. These guys are saying a winning percentage that one would consider above average, but definitely in the realm of normal. So usually we've seen around 52 to 60% winning percentage. Some of the best traders on the planet around a 65, between 65, 68, 69 winning percentage, never any higher than that. And so if you see, and you do see a lot of advertisement for Forex systems that claim 85, 90, 95% winning percentage. Well, there are actual strategies with which those traders do to run those numbers up. But what happens is their risks are so high and they're often taking 1% wins that as soon as they have a rough month, they blow through their whole account and all their gains are gone in a week. So there's a lot of manipulation that typically happens. It's very important for you to understand these guys are falling into what we consider an above average but very normal range for their winning percentage. And in the win-loss category, you can see that dash. Well, that dash is simply trades that haven't completed yet. So you've got the wins and you've got the losses and you've got trades that are still open or trades that haven't even started yet. They've been set but haven't kicked on. Okay. All right. So the Premium FX system. Well, what do you receive? We talked about that front end, that back end, and Prosperity U additions. What's really important here is that you're going to receive the signal set. You're going to be part of the same community that you have been with the cryptocurrency. So you're going to have opportunity for Telegram group support. And again, for those of you who are part of our Telegram groups in the crypto space, again, thank you very much to you. We've just seen, listen, I'll be straight with you. We hesitated in putting Telegram groups together right from the very beginning because we've all been part of them in the past where there's just so many people in with so many different agendas. It's really hard to keep those spaces a positive environment sometimes. But we've seen such an incredible pour out of support from member to member inside our Telegram groups. And I think part of that, of course, is our moderator. In fact, it's on this call, Troy Chambers. A, has really set a solid example, but B, we've also set a set of ground rules for our Telegram group support, and the members, thank you very much to all of you, have followed those rules. And so because we're consistent with the teaching that happens inside those groups, a lot of new members that get involved now, members that Troy has taught, well, those members will actually step up and help support and teach new members. And we're fully expecting you to behave exactly the same way when we open our Forex group. We know it's going to be an extremely constructive environment. And just to make sure there was a ton of value for you in that group, when I took off to Asia for a month to lock down a lot of these elements, I brought Troy with me so he would actually have an opportunity. And he sat down for many hours with some of these trading professionals and advisors to really dig in, because, you know, most of you know, if you've met Troy through the Telegram groups, he's been a trader for 15 years as an amateur, an enthusiastic amateur. And I asked him after his first full 8-hour day, maybe it was a 10-hour day. Anyway, his brain was a little bit frazzled after getting back to the hotel. And I said, listen, I want you to rate this experience, this first day experience, on a scale from 1 to 10. And he came back to me and he said, well, first of all the years and countless money that I've spent on technical analysis courses has to be thrown in the garbage. So that's going to be a real major reset for me to overcome. Secondly, I would rate the information on a scale from 1 to 10 as 11. So I'm not sure if he understood the question entirely or if he was very enthusiastic. But yeah, he was pretty pumped. Anyway, so that community is going to be a big part of this. And the mentoring and support will be a big part. Constantly adding, by the way, what we're going to make available for you as well is a daily review. Obviously, you know that Troy puts together a fantastic week in review, but we're going to give you a daily review, which will just be a screenshot, but some bullets explaining trade by trade by trade on a daily basis. And then Troy will compile all of that and still have an FX week in review for you as well. And then, of course, you have a video and a PDF series and a number of other very special things we've got planned for you as well, as sort of the meat gets all put on the bone here and this gets fleshed out. So this is really going to be a circumstance as you interface with this premium signal and the environment we're creating for you, where you will develop a skill set using this information that, well, as Ron said, can truly be, we feel will be life-changing for you.
You know, John, it's important to note that when we're talking about the premium signals, that the premium signals are really for two different types of people. The one person that are going to be very, very excited and attracted to these signals are actual traders, people that are very familiar with the actual trading platform of Forex, and they're always looking for better and better information. That's the reality, to help them to become better and better. So that individual is without a doubt a group of people that will be very interested in what we have. There's also another group of people out there that want to become Forex traders and want to take advantage of signals like this. And so everything that John was just talking about is really an environment where we can take the beginner person who knows absolutely nothing about Forex trader and get them to the point where they're going to feel extremely comfortable and confident being able to put in their own trades. Now, the beautiful thing is that they're not going to have to go through, months, years of education, pay tens and tens of thousands of dollars, and lose tens of thousands of dollars to learn how to actually Forex trade. We've kind of gone through that for you. So we're going to basically provide you the information. We teach you how to use the information, and then you go and actually do it. Now, if that's not something that is of interest to yourself, then John, maybe you want to talk to them a little bit about PAM.
Of course. Now, we know because of the time zone that many of you that are tuning in right now are in the United States and Canada, but we do also have an audience in Australia and Asia that are now tuning into this particular call as well. So PAM is a system that allows you to get the results of the professional traders because, in essence, they're trading on your behalf. We're using technology from our partner broker, Hot Forex. So if you use PAM, you need to have a Hot Forex account, because inside there's an opportunity to do a very quick scan and search, click one button, and you've now connected your account to the master professional's account. And so when they trade and win, guess what? You win. So there's a very, very significant benefit to using the PAM system. Now, the PAM system still allows you to be in full control of your money at all times. And as you know, if you're already a Unifii member, that was one of our mandated approaches. We never access, we never touch your money. We make sure that we're following rules and guidelines in that particular area, because we want to make sure that we're building an environment and allowing you to build a genealogy as you share this out that can pay you for a lifetime, not just 6 months. And of course, you can monitor all of this growth from your smartphone. Now, it is important because I know that there are members from the US and Canada that are seeing that line at the very bottom saying that PAM is not available in the US and Canada. I want you to understand that there are custom builds like lot calculators, for example, that are going to make manual trading of these signals as simple as it possibly can be. And because of the nature of the orders, when the signals come into you, precise timing is not nearly as critical as it is with your cryptocurrency signals. And so as such, if your schedule is a little bit tight, but you are a US or Canada member and are going to need to trade the premium signals yourself, don't worry, because you're going to have quite an easy time as you start to become comfortable with doing this. Of course, you're going to be able to use any broker that you want to, because Hot Forex will not allow Americans and Canadians to integrate with their PAM system, which is, of course, the partner broker. So, and here's the other thing. If you're also a US Canadian member and are feeling a little bit downtrodden that you can't participate in PAM, keep in mind there is a PAM success fee of 25%. So members pay a 25% fee on their gains. They obviously don't pay when there are not gains. They don't pay at all, but there is a 25% success fee on their gains. So over time, as you use the premium signals and get really good at integrating and making those quick trades, well, you know you won't be paying that 25% fee on your gains. So let's take now a quick. Is there anything you wanted to add on that in that particular front there, Ron?
No, I just think it's important that people understand that this is an option. So, what we do as a company, just be reminded that we're a financial publishing firm. That's exactly what we do, and we provide people information. This is strictly an extra feature if people are either not wanting to learn, and of course, they're living outside of the United States and Canada, or if in fact they don't have the time to do the trading, that this is an option for them that they can take on as well. So, I think that's just really important for everybody to understand. We want to make sure that we have this blanket approach, that we're providing incredible information for people all around the world to be able to take ownership of their own financial future. And that's really key to our company.
Now, if you are new or are a guest looking at this information for the first time, you may not know that David Dewar, here pictured, is our CTO, also co-owner of Unifii, and he is really the genius behind the bolting of all of these things together and everything that we've done so far at Unifii. Well, he'll also be making sure that this gets constructed in a way that's incredibly effective for your marketing efforts. And David, please feel free to share at any time on this infrastructure that we're building out. As you can see in the text at the very bottom on the left-hand side, this will not be launching until January. Now, what I'm talking about is your marketing system will not be launching until January. We'll get into the timeline as to when signals are available for you very, very soon at the end of this presentation. But what we'll be doing is we'll be creating an environment for free users to make sharing as easy as it possibly could be. So any one of you can recommend a free user to go to your replicated site, click on, you can see right on the screenshot there, click on the register trade for free on us button, and actually get one premium signal per day that they can profit from. Now, that free user, once it launches in January, will also be able to log into their own VIP Global FX back office, where they'll have access to the Prosperity U FX videos. They'll have access to all the review numbers. They'll have access to all the information that you, as the person that sent them there, would want them to see. So they can see this data and how it's being generated on their own, and ultimately guide them towards wanting to participate in this and become part of your team. So imagine now on the members side, of course, you are going to have a replicated site, and you're going to be able to give those signals away, that signal, I should say, singular, to anyone, absolutely anyone. It could even be someone at the checkout or the gas station that you interact with for 30 seconds. That's how quick and easy a process will be. Here's the key, though, and this is part of this integration, which is why I introduced David at the beginning of this slide, is you're also going to have your own CMS, and I'm not going to explain what that is. I'm going to let him do it because this is going to allow you to not worry about the dozens or even hundreds of people that you choose to offer a free signal to. Instead, you can focus on them once you see them pop into your CMS. David, you want to elaborate a little?
Well, at the risk of getting too technical, CMS is, I guess, a customer management system that we're going to be providing to people. And we're working hard on this behind the scenes, and we're going to get that out to you folks as soon as we can.
Thank you very much. So I'm extremely excited about this because I love one of the things that as network marketing leaders we're hit with all the time is friends of ours and people that we meet for the first time that so desperately want to create a supplement income source for themselves. They absolutely need to. And it just seems to me that whether we're in developed countries in the West or whether we're in other parts of the world that are developing, it just seems like there is a real tightening of purses these days. It just feels for many people that there's too much month at the end of their money. And so we really wanted to make sure that there was a very simple path forward for people who desperately wanted to create reward plan earning and a very easy way to share something with someone, but at the same time, were very normal in that they had that same fear of opening their mouth that anyone else has. And that's that fear of rejection or that fear of criticism of your peers or your family members. Well, this is going to circumnavigate all of that. I'll simply be able to fire something off very quickly. Listen, try it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's the end of it. and let the system actually do all the heavy lifting for you. All right, so global partners. Now, VIP Global FX has 2 partners, and they've picked them extremely carefully. And of course, we're extremely grateful that Unifii is one of them. And we already talked about Hot FX and why that's another one. We got a couple of bullet points for you here. First of all, there's a high degree of safety in the Hot FX environment. This actually is a top 100 financial company award winner. The number of awards they've won over the past several years is far too numerous to mention. They do have a global reach and have satellite offices in many countries around the world. And they have, of course, the trading week, 5 days a week, 24 hours a day, trading support. Now, many of you are also going to be extremely excited to learn that they accept Bitcoin. So you can fund your account with BTC, and as you start to kill it in the Forex universe, you can also withdraw in BTC. Now, that's going to be especially good news when the financial markets take a beating and BTC starts to see that eventual increase. Now, why Unifii? Well, our global vision also was very much a part of what was resonating with the people behind all of this information. And our global reach was also something that was very important to them as well. This particular group of professionals will not be consultants to the field, but when we as a corporate team spoke with them at length in attempting to create a unique circumstance where we are the only access point globally to this data, it was really Unifii Cares and the vision of Unifii that was really resonating with this team of professionals. Now, the way we support our members, which is something we talked about with Telegram groups and dragging Troy halfway across the planet to really start to understand how they're doing what they're doing, was part of us planning for the future, for future ongoing education and support. Our global reach as well was important. And then, of course, our mandate, where we're never touching members' money, was critically important to them. As professionals in the Forex world, of course, they build businesses to last. They didn't invest hours and days and weeks and months and years developing this skill set, not to mention with all the money that's been invested by them developing this skill set to launch with a business partner that's going to get shut down in 6 months. So, and ultimately, it was important to them also that not only did we have a high referral or reward bonus for sharing, but we had a very low cost to entry as well, because again, we're not alienating anyone from participating in this space now. And then if you notice on the bottom of the left-hand side, we also do have and will be teaching of our recommended broker for North America. Ron, you had something to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with everybody that for us to secure global exclusive rights to this information really did require us to have relationships and also to be in line with one another. So this is not an easy thing to do. And for us to have been able to do this at a very high cost, we really believe that this was ultimately the right way to go for each and every one. And the fact is also, I want to be reminding everyone that, in fact, don't forget, cryptocurrency is still a great marketplace for us to be playing in. And so now we're really trying to corner the market in multiple areas, which is really the big benefit for all of our members, to not only be a customer user of our products, but also to be able to be, I would say, a conduit of light to people around the world that are looking for something like this. We're genuine when we talk about the fact that this is really something about who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. And the reason we're also kind of somewhat limiting the platforms is because we want to teach you how to actually do the trading and things of that nature. So if we can't do that over 15, 20, or 30 different platforms. But I do want to share with you, because there's definitely people listening in that are FX traders. You can keep your own platform. You don't need to change in any which way or form, because all you're getting from us, when I say all, is these incredible signals that are going to tell you when it's a very high probability that there's a good trading opportunity at this range, and here's what you can or cannot do. It's totally up to yourself. We're not going to tell you what to do, but we're certainly going to give you some information to be able to help as well. So I think those are really, really key elements that we worked extremely hard at. And at the end of the day, it's really, I know as crazy as this sounds, but it's the heart of the company that has given us the ability to be able to actually secure this global rights with this company. And I want to say this is kind of it's a shame on me, but it's kind of a funny story. When I got married 26 years ago, I married this beautiful girl from Mexico, and she was just full of love. And some people have met her in Vancouver, and she's a very, very key part to Unifii Cares, which was a key part of this company. You know, I remember sitting down at the table once with her, a young couple, struggling just like anybody else. And me being the Italian breadwinner, having to make the money, I remember her telling me that love is all that's needed. And I remember going back and saying, what are you talking about? Love's not going to put food on the table. And the reality is this. I look back now 26 years from now, and here's the reality. The reason we have the ability to have this global rights with a company like this is because of our genuine desire to help people all around the world. Unifii Cares is a core reason as to what company's about, is ultimately the reason why we've been blessed with what we have. So I just find it kind of interesting. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks for sharing that too. So let's talk about integration. This is important. Now, it's very important for you to understand. If you remember that screenshot, the second slide we showed today, how FX is being integrated into our entire suite of products, well, that we're going to discuss again right now. So there is that suite. It used to be 4 products. Now it's 5. And as such, it's important for you to understand if you're going to access FX, you're going to access everything. That doesn't mean you need to trade crypto right now, but with our trading results that we have historically, that most of you are fully aware of, when BTC market starts to move again, you probably will want to also be benefiting from those products as well. And of course, if you're accessing FX, you'll have access to all of them because we have not separated this. We wanted there to be one way for you to get involved. We didn't want a checkout page with 15 different options, and that's what you have. Prosperity U, altcoin reports, crypto signals for universal and advanced, and now FX. It's all one price, okay? That price is $349. And just like when we first launched with 4 products, it includes 1 month of all updated data as well. And if you choose, if you're outside of the US and Canada, you choose to add PAM, you'll pay an additional one-time $299. That's it. Extremely simple. We don't want the checkout page to be complicated. The only options that you have are your monthly access. So what is a monthly access? Why am I paying a monthly access? Well, obviously, in this type of information, this stuff is always being updated. Prosperity U is updated regularly. Our altcoin report is updated weekly. Our universal signal is updated as required. As you know, a universal signal only fires bare minimum because it's a long-term trend-based signal. But our advanced daily signal is updated daily. And as you know, we also get multiple premium FX signals daily. So all of that behind the scenes costs money. And there is a monthly access fee, membership fee of $89. However, we will give you options here. You have 3, 6, or 12 months. If it's something that you want to just pay once, done, you want to save a few dollars and never have to worry about it for a year, there you go. You have those options as well.
I think it's important for people to take a good look at these numbers because the truth of the matter is we could charge 10 times this. But one of the easy is right. But one of the mandates about why David and I created this company was that we wanted to make sure that what we did was to provide this information that can be used and can be paid for all around the world. Because at the end of the day, if we were able to produce this, which we have, and we were able to offer this to the people around the world, which we have, but if we did it at a price that the masses could not take advantage of, well, then we would only be serving a very small group of people around the world. And the reality is we would much prefer to be the Robin Hoods of the world, where we give you all the opportunity to come in at a price that's very, very palatable, and it allows us to be able to truly offer this all around the world.
Indeed. And I'll tell you, as absurd as it sounds, if you had the minimum required for a PAM account, for example, which is $1,000 US, and you were trading a 2-to-1 risk ratio. Well, the professional traders were doing it on your behalf. Already in your first 8 days of November, you would have already paid for your price of entry. Craziness. Craziness.
It's
okay,
insane.
Ron, here's the timeline. Let's discuss when this stuff is all rolling out.
Yeah, thank you, John. Much appreciated, folks. I want to share with you a little bit of what, how things are going to roll out, and so you know what to expect. So obviously, as we're talking right now, we're in the month of November. So let's talk about existing members, existing Unifii members. What you have as an opportunity is the ability to lock in your monthly subscription at $79.95. If you wish, you could go ahead in your back office if your subscription is due, and you could lock in a 3-month subscription. You can lock in a 6-month subscription. You can lock in a 1-year subscription. Actually, since our 3 o'clock call, John, I already saw a whole bunch of people locking in their 1-year subscription because, as you saw, John was talking about, the prices are going to go up slightly in December. But as a Unifii existing member, whether you were paid this month or last month or previous, as long as you were a member and as long as you're paying in the month of November, you could actually lock in our old prices moving forward. So that's an option for you. Whatever budget is good for you is totally up to yourself. Also, because, I shared a story before that my nephew has a boat, and he loves to take his buddies on the boat. And, well, it costs money to run your boat on the lake. And so he has a little sign on his boat that says, "Thank you doesn't pay for the gas." And, it's kind of a little bit of fun. But the reality is, I shared with each and every one of you how I was grateful and thank you for being a part of our company. But you know what? I want to go one step further. And what we'd like to do is for anybody who pays for their November subscription. Now, even if you didn't pay in October, and maybe you may not have even paid in September, and now you're looking at this a second time, or if you are an active member at Unifii, if you pay your subscription in November, Pam, if it's a product that you're looking to add, will be absolutely free. We will not charge you for Pam. It's a one-time charge. Again, that is for people out of the United States and Canada, but we do know that there's many, many people on this call here that are outside those countries right now to take advantage of that. So in December, the subscription obviously is going to increase to $89.95. All right. Also, when you go and log into
$10.
Pardon me?
$10.
$10 difference.
Going up $10. That's I'm a little bit embarrassed that it's only going up $10.
Well, let me share this, and I don't feel uncomfortable sharing this. It's $10 today, but I can assure you that as time goes on, there's a possibility that that number might grow a little bit. But the reality is, right now, we want to make sure that we're giving everybody the opportunity to take advantage of it. Yeah.
And listen, I mean, like we said, we're serious. This is not just PR or marketing. We want everyone to be able to afford this. And even though there's obviously a heck of a lot more than $10 in value that's being built out with front ends and back ends and free systems and CMS systems, all of that stuff, you're getting for $10. But it was a very conscious decision. It was done deliberately. And by the way, if you do what Ron had just mentioned, you receive the free Pam, the $2.99. That's free for life. There won't be a period in the future where that $2.99 kind of comes back around for you to pay. Once you've got it, you've got it.
Yeah. So if you're a Unifii subscriber and you paid in the month of November, when you go into your back office, you're going to have the premium FX signals there. So there they are. They'll be available in your back office. You know how we have those 4 different tabs. We have the universal signal. We have the advanced signal. We have the altcoin reports, and we have Prosperity U. There'll be one more, and that'll be our premium signals as well. And they'll be all there. They're there for you to use at a whim, which is pretty damn awesome. Early December, that could be right at the beginning of December. It could be the first week of December. We want to give ourselves a little bit of room. That's when our replicated site will be live. Now, there's going to be some limitations to that site due to the fact that that's going to be a site that you can send people to. Now, I want to explain this. We purposely created a separate website because Well, Forex is a different message, and there's specific people that want to learn about that and that only. And so, of course, we're going to have information about our Forex signals and everything on our Unifii site. But if you want to drive someone just to that site because of the marketing elements behind it, we wanted to make sure that we had the free signal there, we had the premium signals there, and we also had, if it's something that people had an interest in, what the PAM program was all about as well. So it's in one place, one spot, and it's a marketing tool for all of you. That will be available December the 1st for each and every person in our company. Now, moving into January, that's when the back end is going to get built in. That CMS program will be built in. That's when the actual free signal will actually be set up, where people will have to log in and put their information, and they'll have that signal for a short period of time. It's a limited time so that they're not using it forever and ever. Our objective is to show people that our product works, it's powerful, and you should seriously take advantage of it. Now, if we go to the next slide, I think you have a couple more points, John. So again, now what about new members? So any new member that gets signed up in the month of November, well, the same applies for you. So here's the good news. Instead of getting started at $349, which you would in December, you're getting in at $279.95 in November. So if there's folks on the line that are thinking, yeah, I want to get involved, you should do so in November because you're going to save, what is it, about 60 bucks, 70 bucks, something like that. Also, you will get PAM for free. So if in fact you want to have PAM or you're entitled to get PAM and it's something you're looking for, that $299 fee will be waived as well, and you get that for life. So there's a lot of reasons why you'll want to get started in the month of November. Again, we want to say thank you to all of our members, and so we're providing a gift. We feel it's worth it to make the investment of doing this, and so that's why we've done it. And then we're going to start moving forward from that point. Now, you probably may have a couple of questions, which is only logical. We're going to have, of course, our CEO call on Wednesday, as we do every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to get into a little bit more details on this. Of course, we're still going to share how things are working in our crypto world, because that's all part of who we are. So we're just not one thing, we're many things. And you also need to know that in 2019, we will also be providing even more information on the stock markets to be able to help you to protect your retirement funds as well. So we really want to be a full one-stop shop where you have the ability to truly reach that financial freedom that you've always been looking for. So make sure that you get on that call for our CEO call, folks. I would strongly encourage you to invite friends to take a good look at what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday as well, which is really, really important. And at the end of it all, guys, what's this all about? It truly is about being able to go out and be a blessing to people in need. We are so blessed to be in Canada, United States, Australia, Europe, Asia, many parts of Asia, because we quite frankly live like kings. Even if you're having a hard time today, we still live like kings and queens. So the reality is, why don't we help one another so that we can help others that are in need? And that's truly at the heart of this company. And that's why we continually do whatever we can to continue to get the absolute best we possibly can. And so with that, I just want to thank you, John, for a great presentation. Thank you, David, for putting all the hard work in to bolt this sucker together to make sure it's always working. And we just want to ensure that you all have an incredible evening. Please, this webinar will be posted in your back office, let's say in a half an hour or so. And you're more than welcome to share this with as many people you care about, and so that you can all become part of the Unifii family, so that we can do some incredible things all around the world. With that, I wish you a God blessing and a good night. Thank you, folks. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.